Hello and welcome to my channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the element of Earth. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you may have recognized in retrospect and get some advice about what you can do moving forward in order to integrate this acquired wisdom into your path. Take a look at the timestamps below and pick the one that resonates with you the most deeply. I will see you on the video. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Virgo. So the intention behind this is to take a look at something that you may have recognized in retrospect and to get a bit of advice about what you can do moving forward in order to take steps that are more in alignment with the wisdom that you've already attained. Okay. So looking back, it appears that in hindsight, you recognized that you needed to follow your passion. You may have kind of researched and dug deep within yourself to try to figure out just what exactly that is. This could be like some type of hobby, a creative venture, it could be, music, singing, arts, acting even, filmmaking. It could be design, fashion design. It could be horticulture. It could be exotic animals, interior design. There's just something that it's really inspires you to express yourself artistically and creatively. And you may have even taken some classes on this. I feel like you just had a lot of time to really look into this and to connect with yourself and to kind of look back over your life as well, to see times where you may have had opportunities to pursue this and you didn't. And I feel like you didn't because you didn't feel like it was a safe thing. It wasn't a good bet. A lot of times the arts and creative fields are not respected by, our heavily capitalistic societies. And you may have felt as if trying to pursue that would be a sign of you not trying to create a safety net for yourself, not being meticulous and trying to create a secure future for yourself that was predicated upon hard work and just putting in the hours and storing up the years and creating a foundation. You may have felt like you would have been kind of throwing away that sense of social respect and a sense of financial responsibility that goes along with pursuing fields like this, where you are not guaranteed to create some type of living that is respectable. It's kind of hit or miss. I feel like you're recognizing that this may have not been the correct approach for you. I feel like this was something that made you were stuck on it. Like, even though you kind of knew that this is how people felt about it and it was impacting you, you still felt stuck because you really, really wanted to pursue this and you hadn't up to this point. And I just feel like there could have even been a little bit of remorse about it, that there was this longing to do this thing that you didn't. Again, because of this sense of it not being a safe bet, not being able to protect yourself against the ebb and flow of what happens in the markets and in the world and in society for people who kind of put themselves out there. You didn't want to be a starving artist, basically. You didn't want to be a person who was happy because you were creating and doing what you wanted to do, but you couldn't pay your bills. And I think that there was a real fear about that. I'm picking up that maybe something occurred where you ended up in a similar space as this anyway. And so now you're recognizing that if I would have knew that I was going to end up in the same spot anyway, I would have actually done the thing I wanted to do. So looking at your advice moving forward here, we have diving for light. And this card really speaks to the sense of being able to go into dark spaces or places that are not perceived as being the first bet or the safest bet, and then trying to find the gold there or trying to find the light there, and basically getting like a treasure from like a perilous place. And it's not so much just the actual truth of what that place is. It's more of a subjective idea about what that space is. And this advice, I think here moving forward, is saying that you really learn that sometimes it's worth it to take a risk and to do something that might be intimidating to you, or it might feel as if it's not a safe space or it's not a sure bet, or you can't guarantee what's going to happen. But for that joy, that glory, that sense of personal fulfillment of following a dream and going into a space just for the pure joy of allowing yourself to follow your passion, that it might just actually be worth it. Okay. So let's read the words of affirmation here that accompany it. Okay. It says, say this aloud, whether it makes sense to you or not. I call upon the presence of unconditional love. Be here now without restraint. Fill me and fill this space. Touch all beings with your grace. I feel the presence of unconditional love within me. I acknowledge the presence of unconditional love, and in this love, no fear can remain. May unconditional love guide any fear back to the light of love, or back into the earth, as serves the greatest good. My body, mind, heart, and soul are now completely bathed in and protected by unconditional love. Through my own free will, this is so. Repeat morning and night for at least 3 days, and continue for as long as you wish and feels good for you. You may feel some reactions to this work. Fear, anger, or irritation may come up. You may feel an overwhelming need to go and do something that doesn't actually seem that important once you start doing it and could have waited 5 more minutes. You might feel nausea. You might also feel emotional, with sadness or grief passing through you. These are all signs that your healing process is working on a darker energy and that the energy is releasing itself from you. Repeat this simple process until you feel clear. Don't be afraid to continue with it as much as is needed, especially if you live or work in a toxic environment with a lot of negativity, arguments, anger, or disturbances, and cannot extricate yourself from that environment for a period of time for various reasons. If you feel that you need additional help, seek out a reputable shaman or spiritual healer. Start with internet searches or word-of-mouth referrals. Then, trust your instincts about who feels good for you to assist you. There is no need to fear or to feel burdened by this work. You are being drawn into this experience so that you are ready to experience more light. To be ready for that, we must be capable of handling equal darkness. Now is the preparation. Soon, the celebration will follow. All right, Virgo, that is what I have for your reading on your hindsights that you've recognized. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye. we are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Capricorn. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you recognized in retrospect and to get some advice about what you can do moving forward so that you can incorporate the wisdom that you acquired into your path moving forward. So what we have here is this sense that you realize that you may not have been making the best choices from a space of thinking big for your future, seeing the potential in yourself. And I feel as if this is important because if you were making decisions from a space of thinking small, not having positive expectations for yourself, not seeing the best for your future, it would have led you into spaces and places that just really were not reflective of what was for your highest and best good. And I feel like you realize that now. I feel as if you may have thought that you had, maybe you felt like you had a lot of time. And so you kind of dallied and tarried in spaces and places that maybe you knew were not the best for you, but you didn't have like a sense of urgency of trying to do what was best for you, you know, getting on the good foot, you know. So this to me is saying also that you may have had difficulties making decisions because you may have had issues with a father figure. Perhaps you did not have a father figure in your life to kind of demonstrate for you this energy of kind of taking the reins and being an authoritative figure and like a sense of accountability for not only yourself, but for how you're impacting others. And because of this, you may not have known how to navigate through certain situations. You may not have known how to stand up for yourself, how to stand up for others, how to stand up for what you know is right for you, and to go after the things that you know are right for you. All right. And so I feel like you recognize too that you need to do some healing as far as that's concerned, either with your father relationship or recognizing how that may have impacted the way that you interact with and see the world. Okay. So your advice for moving forward here is that every journey starts with a single step. And on this card, there is a person that's kind of naked and just standing there with a suitcase. And there's like light emanating from their head and their chest, and they're looking up. And so to me, this is a connection with a high potential, seeing the beauty of what could be, and just having this raw faith, this naked vulnerability in just stepping forward in that direction, not quite sure about what you're going to meet, but at least taking the steps to try to go in that direction. Okay. There are butterflies coming out of this person's suitcase. So it could be like a sense of like transformation, a sense of going from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and you are trying to allow yourself to become allowing yourself to unfold and to come out of your cocoon and truly, truly be who it is that you're meant to be and who you want to be. All right. And allowing yourself to be vulnerable in the pursuit of that by taking that first wobbly step. And even if the step is wobbly, still trying to allow yourself to take that step. Okay. So let's read some words of affirmation for this. Okay. It says, say aloud, of my own free will, I now choose to surrender any fear or doubt about my ability to succeed. I believe in myself. I trust myself. I have faith in the unfolding journeys of my life, both internally and out in the world. Even in the face of the unknown, I know that positive energy surrounds me, and I am protected. Through unconditional love, I am supported and assisted to take each step as needs be so that my great creative life journey can be all that it can be. You may like to complete your healing process with a quick dance around the lounge room, feeling joy in your heart and lightness in your step. Just as a suggestion. Okay. All right, yeah. So this here is really speaking to a sense of believing that you can succeed, even if you don't have, let's say, if we go back to that father figure, you don't have somebody in your corner that's cheering you on. You didn't maybe get the encouragement as a child or in your youth. You didn't have that type of undergirding where you have someone that's trying to cover you even and to provide like this protective bubble so that you felt safe enough to go out in the world and take a chance and take risks. Because one of the cards you got here was the moon, and it's you will be guided through darkness. And I feel as if you may not have felt like you were guided through these dark spaces in your life, or these times when you weren't quite sure about what the correct direction would be to go in, or how do I handle this situation. And that could have been holding you back from trying to move forward and take risks or take steps or go on paths that you don't really know how to navigate because you didn't get that covering. But this is saying here that in order to do anything, you have to take that first step. And sometimes you have to learn through the experience. If you don't have somebody to tell you what not to do or whatever the case, you have to learn by doing. And really, that's allowing yourself the best possible experience that you can have, because you're allowing yourself to really stretch out and to grow and to fill up all the spaces around you, as opposed to restricting yourself and not allowing yourself to have the experience that you came here to have, so that you can grow, so that you can know. All right. So, this is what I have for you, Capricorn, for your hindsight reading. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Taurus. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you might have realized in retrospect, and to get some advice about what you can do moving forward in order to gain the wisdom of the experience that you've already had, so that you can be empowered as you continue on your path in this life. Okay. So, looking at the cards here, it appears that you looked back and you saw that you needed to be the original version of yourself. Basically, not be afraid to go on your own path, to allow your creative, artistic expression to show. And to just be who you are and not be concerned about any kinds of restrictions or barriers that other people might put on you because they want you to show up a certain kind of way. And I see that you might have had difficulty doing that because you could not let go of situations or maybe people who you wanted to try to either impress or you wanted validation from, and you just weren't getting it. And I feel like that might have been blocking you from kind of going through this sense of being like in a cocoon to kind of transforming into this butterfly-like being. I feel like you couldn't do that. Like you couldn't come to the fullness of who you were because of the fact that you were too busy trying to get this validation. All right. You may have also had this sense of, feeling as if you could only do that, that you would allow yourself to see how powerful you are just within yourself, how much power you have within yourself, and how empowered you would be in your life, and how that could just be good not only for you, but maybe for other people to see you that way, because perhaps people don't see you that way. And that could be some of this issue with this seeking out this validation. trying to make yourself small almost in order to get validation from people who, quite frankly, from the looks of it, might not ever give you that validation. And you're not serving yourself or anybody else by trying to play small so that other people don't feel some kind of way about who you are. And I feel as if you could have here had issues with manifesting things. Like, you also might have had difficulty feeling empowered or allowing yourself to be empowered because you might have manifested things that you did not want to have happen, or things that just were not in alignment with who you really are. And I feel like a lot of this has to do with the fact that you were trying to make yourself fit into spaces and places that were not for you. And because you were allowing yourself to kind of be impacted, perhaps by judgment from others, and this sense that you needed to appease others, and it looks as if the only thing that would appease these others is for you to not be empowered. And that's kind of a dangerous, toxic place to be in, because then if you are a powerful person and you are meant to be empowered and you're meant to be this way, then what happens is you're going to start manifesting things that are not in alignment with who you are or your desires. It's going to be in alignment with things that are more in alignment with the people who don't want you to be in your power, because perhaps you allowing your light to shine makes them feel as if theirs is dim, not because you're dimming their light, but because they have not made a choice within themselves to allow their light to shine and for them to be in their full empowerment. So, it's kind of a situation where, it could cause other people to feel a sense of conviction that they are not living their life or doing something right within themselves, when people show up with that kind of energy, where they are allowing themselves to be their original self, and it's very apparent. It's something that people can see, and I feel like that's more important now than ever. I feel like you have your spirit guides, you have angels, guardians, whatever you want to call them, ancestors that are watching over you, and they are guiding and protecting you. And even when you feel as if you are, I feel like there could be a sense of like exposure, like a sense of like you're afraid of, you don't want to be powerful because you don't want people to try to convict you. I think it makes you feel perhaps more exposed, and so you don't want to let your light shine because it draws more attention to you. It draws more energy and attention to you that I feel like you don't want. And so that might also be like, if you tend to be more introverted or more shy, that could also be why you try to play small, because you feel more comfortable playing small, because you don't like the attention that you probably naturally attract. It's just you feel like you have the kind of energy where you just attract stuff to you. Even if you're trying to hide it, something will happen specifically to put attention on you, even if you're not trying to get it. And I feel like you might have even been trying to get attention in spaces by playing small, and then doing the best that you can and trying to be a certain person or to fulfill a certain role that was not your correct role, and then getting no attention at all, and being dismissed and cast to the side and so on. And I feel like at some level that wasn't something that you wanted either. I feel like you wanted this perfect balance of being comfortable, not being too seen, not being too put off, but it wasn't working. And I feel like this is because you were, again, trying to appeal to the way that people who are not supportive of you, who are not your friends, don't want to see you do well, are needing to see you, not even necessarily to like help them or anything, but just to make themselves feel more comfortable. I feel like it probably has very little to even do with you. I feel like you're recognizing this now, and you're recognizing that you need to be in your fullness and in your power and be true to yourself And also, I feel like this has to do with feeding energy also. Like, what do you put your energy into? I feel like you are not supposed to put your energy into certain environments, certain people and situations, because it's not what you're here for. I feel like you're supposed to be putting your energy into things that are in alignment with the true nature of who you are. And you can only do that by allowing yourself to be free, expressive, and fully in your power. And then you're going to feed your energy into those things that are going to turn your manifestations to the upright, to where you're going to see how how you show up in the world and how you don't show up in the world, how that impacts this very intricate web that we all live in, that we're all impacting at different levels, and that we can become desensitized to. And I feel like it's very important that we all show up in our trueness of who we are, being true to ourselves, because when we don't do that, that is how we can create chaos and things that are not in alignment with the good for everyone, when people are out of their own order, or they're not being true to themselves, okay, trying to do something to appease someone else, and it throws everything off. I'm also picking up like butterfly effect here. I'm seeing with these this letting go card and these butterflies, and talking about allowing yourself to become the butterfly and to fully be the expression of who you came here to be. And with your advice card here, we have what is already with you. And this is a hand with butterflies coming out, okay? And so let's take a look at this, because I feel like that's all connected as well, okay? So the words of affirmation for this is as follows. Hug yourself by wrapping your arms around your body. Can you summon love for yourself? Feel what comes up for you with this. Do you think it is silly and resist it? Can you soften and melt into it? Feel love for yourself. You are as deserving of love as anyone. Can you accept this love from yourself now? Feel your heart beat in your chest and the flow of your breath. You are alive. You are connected to life, and you can trust in yourself, your own mind, your own body, and your own breath. Just be with yourself and know that all is going to be okay. Reassure yourself that letting go of the past is as natural as the passing of the seasons of life. When you are ready, stand up, open your arms wide, and hold them above your head for a moment. Imagine your heart and hands are open and shining out the beautiful light that is within you. Imagine the universe receiving it and saying yes to you. If you are feeling cheeky and ready, send a big yes back to the universe and laugh. That is all. That is enough. You are enough. So be it. All right, Taurus. So that is what I have for your hindsight reading. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye.